Available just in time for Amazon's Prime Day, O-Knife is releasing a brand new version of their popular U1 utility knife. This is the U1 Ultra. And as you can see, I have all three versions of the new U1 Ultra, both OAL versions and the titanium version. And just for the heck of it, I have both of the previous U1 utility knives right here. The first U1 utility knife and the Pro. And I'll do a quick size comparison a little bit later on in this video, but let's first unbox these brand new U1 Ultras. All right, so let's start with this guy right here. I'll give you a quick look at the box. Pretty standard stuff. Product shot on the front. And let's pull this guy out here. Nothing else in there. And here's the new U1 Ultra in plastic, but of course it comes with the blade changing tool right here. So they call this a toolless utility knife, but not really. And I'll talk about that a little bit later on as well. But let me take this out. And this is the olive green. So I have the olive green version right here. Very nice. This OAL. I'm a fan of this ever since Olight started making their Ultra flashlights out of this OAL material. I suspect it's a form of 7075 aluminum. Obviously, I have no way to tell, but the specs are very, very close to 7075 aluminum. And this is the stealth gray version. Also comes with that blade changing tool. And let's take this out of the plastic. Yeah, right there. And there we go. So very, very nice. I'm loving that stealth gray. And of course, the titanium version. So the prices here, let's see, the OAL version is $54.99. And of course, this is going to give me issues opening. There we go. $54.99 for the OAL Ultra and $64.99 for this titanium. $10 more for the premium titanium version. Ooh-wee. So let me clear off this table real quick, and even these tools, and I'll give you guys a nice close-up of this titanium version right here. So already I'm seeing some changes. The OAL Stealth Gray right there, and the olive green OAL Ultra. Very, very nice. So this isn't going to be a full review of the U1 Ultra. It's just going to be a quick rundown of some of the new features, and I'll compare it very briefly with the two previous versions right here, and I'll give you my first impressions as always. So that being said, let's run down some of the features here. So as I already mentioned, the OAL version of the U1 Ultra is available in two different colors as of the recording of this video: olive green and stealth gray. And the titanium version is a grade 5 titanium with a 400 grit bead blasting treatment. The new U1 Ultra now has 3 different ways to deploy the blade. The first way is with the thumb stud, the second way is with the button lock, and the third way is a brand new feature for the U1 series, a flipper tab. It ships with the right side tip-up only deep carry pocket clip that's made of stainless steel with a titanium coating. And they also come with a white zirconia ceramic razor blade that has a hardness of 1200 HV. That's right, check out this razor blade that the U1 Ultra ships with, this white zirconia ceramic razor blade. Now 1200 HV is measured on the Vickers hardness scale. If you guys are used to the Rockwell C or the Rockwell A hardness scale, it's a 71 on the Rockwell C hardness scale and 87 on the Rockwell A hardness scale. That's a really hard blade. That's gonna last you about 10 times longer than your standard razor blade. I'll give you a close-up of that matte white blade. It's absolutely beautiful in this titanium version here. In fact, let's check out all of the blades here. So there we go. That's what it looks like on the olive green OAL version. And then, yeah, probably gonna be my favorite one here, this stealth gray OAL aluminum with that white razor blade. Beautiful. And as I mentioned with the new Ultra, there are 3 different ways to deploy this blade. The thumb stud right there, boom. And then the button lock, very fast, quick, and easy. And now the new flipper tab, rear flipper tab back there. Works fairly well. So you do have to press pretty hard and give it a little bit of assist, because you see I did whiff on that one, but if you just give it a little bit of assist, a little wrist assist, It works nice. And for those of you out there that are familiar with the previous U1 models, these guys right here, the regular U1 and the Pro, you can already tell the design choices that O-Knife made. This little, I don't know, this little design, this little etched design in that aluminum right there and in the titanium. You can see that right there. On the previous models, this guy right here is just carbon fiber. There is no design at all in that handle or on the Pro. So this being the very first time I'm checking out the U1 Ultra, I just unboxed it on camera with you guys. I was sort of expecting the little screwdriver, the little tool right here that's on the back of the Pro. I was expecting this to be on the Ultra, but surprisingly, it's not there. So being called the Ultra, I thought for sure they would include this little mini screwdriver, little bit holder right here, which I'm a huge, huge fan of this. The button lock right there locks it into place. This is a really useful feature on the U1 Pro, but surprisingly, left off of the Ultra. So let's take a closer look at the body itself and see some more features here. This is the titanium version. I can see one single barrel spacer right there near the tail, a lanyard hole right there integrated in that deep carry pocket clip. There is O-Knife branding on that pocket clip, but it looks a little bit different. You guys know I dislike the O-Knife logo on a lot of their knives. It's just they put it on really large and it has a little wheel. I don't know what it is, but this, they are getting better at their branding. I'm liking this. There's some jimping on the spine of that blade holder, and as you can see, dual thumb studs, but this is only a right-handed knife because that pocket clip is not reversible. You can see that right there. So I'm surprised they included dual thumb studs unless they're expecting you lefties out there to remove this pocket clip altogether. Ceramic ball bearings in the pivot right there with the button lock. And now they included a rear flipper tab right there. That makes the U1 Ultra a very, very functional knife. And the size seems a bit larger here. Actually, let me compare it with the Pro. And compared to the Pro, it looks like it's a bit shorter than the Pro. What I'll do is I'll do some B-roll here of all the sizes together with the Ultra versus the Pro versus the original U1. It's definitely larger than the U1 original, but now that I'm looking at it, it's just slightly larger than the original U1. So as you can see, it's right around the same size as the original U1, but a lot shorter than the U1 Pro. And now let's weigh these bad boys. Let's do the OAL aluminum version first. About 2.3 ounces, and in grams, that's about 64 grams. And let's do the titanium version right here. Plop. About 84 grams, and in ounces, that's 2.9 ounces. And as I mentioned before, I'm surprised they still ship it with this little blade changing tool right here. That means that they haven't really messed with the design of this screw right here to hold in the blades. If you guys are familiar with the previous U1 utility knives, you know if you just tighten this down with your hands, most likely the blade will become loose and you just have to sit there and try to tighten this as hard as you can. Otherwise, it's going to continue getting loose on you. A few times with the original U1 right here, I flicked it open and this screw was so loose, the blade actually came out on me. So if I had to state a negative with the U1, it would be this screw that holds in the blades. But that's why they give you this little tool. So you can just take this tool and tighten this up as hard as you can, and it works really well. Since I've been using this tool to tighten this screw down, I've never had any issues with these blades becoming loose. But at the same time, I'm surprised that with this U1 Ultra, they're continuing this same design. In fact, let me just loosen this up so I can take a closer look at that blade. And just so you guys know, if you're not familiar, this screw, you can't lose it. It doesn't screw out all the way. There's a stopper right there, so you'll never lose that screw, which is nice. But here's, oh man, don't cut yourself on camera. All right, cool. There's that white zirconium ceramic blade right there. Unfortunately, it only comes with one. And as of right now, I don't know how much these white blades cost, but if you don't want to use this white blade, you can replace it with any razor blade that you have. It'll take any standard razor blade. And I can't wait to put this razor blade to the test to see if it really lasts 10 times longer than a standard razor blade. But look at that. There's the O-Knife logo right there in the corner, but let's put this back in and tighten it up. And another thing I really like about the U1 utility knives here are just how much of this blade surface is available. It's about 85% of that blade is usable right there. Most utility knives have about half of that usability, so that's a really nice feature here on the U1, but first impressions here are very good. It seems to be the exact same functionality as the previous U1 versions here, but they added a flipper tab and gave you more premium materials. And the size seems to be more compact than the Pro version here. It's more on par with the original U1. Plus a titanium version, and this OAL is a very, very cool material. As I said earlier, I suspect it's some form of 70-75 aluminum. I can't prove it, but that's just my theory. Very similar specs. But what do you guys think of the U1 Ultra? And which one is your favorite? This guy right here, the stealth gray, the olive green, or the titanium version? All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. What do you think of the brand new U1 Ultra? As I mentioned earlier, OhKnife released this just in time for Amazon's Prime Day on July 8th, the same time I'm releasing this video. And since OhKnife is releasing this on Prime Day, they're offering a 20% discount from July 8th to the 15th. I'll have that link below in my description box. But if you did enjoy this video, please give me that thumbs up. Please subscribe and go!